18-6 run with complimentary plays over the past 10 days. 18-6 with complimentary plays. I haven't had 18 winners the past 6 weeks combined. Now, obviously, I didn't forget how to handicap, because otherwise, how the hell am I coming up with all the free plays? But when you're in a slump, just nothing goes right. And I'm the first one to tell you that over the long haul, even though you think the breaks are often going against you, over the long haul, inevitably, more often than not, they go more in your favor than against you. But when you're in a slump, you just don't think anything goes right. Case in point, last night I had a 10-dime play on Duke. Naturally, they lose because they win by 10 and I'm laying 11. And that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. So what do? Well, in my case, I mutter my latest profanity, and then I immediately handicap the next card, and I decide to do a video report for you at midnight because I've got nothing else to do, because the next day is another money-making opportunity, and that's the bottom line. All I can do is come here on the video report and on the website and tell you when I lose and when I happen to win. And I do that for all the handicappers, and all the handicappers have to do the same thing. That's the one thing that you've always got to believe here: total transparency. And that's why I don't have any problem with talking about losers more than talking about winners here on the video reports, guys, because the fact is that you've got to come to this site with 100% total confidence in knowing that what you're seeing is 100% real. For those of you that are newcomers, and there are a lot of you at this time of year, especially with the college bowl season kicking off next week, the NFL playoffs just 2 weeks away, it's important for you to understand that there are no better plays. The only plays that you see from the handicappers here are on the site. There's no one upselling you. Hell, there's no salespeople. There's no phone number. There's nothing. We don't even have an office. Do you realize all of us working across the country, we all work out of our houses? Nobody has an office. Hell, I've known Trace Adams for 25 years. More than that, 28 years actually. 28 years. I haven't seen him in over 10 years. That's how it goes. Chris Jordan, haven't seen him personally in at least 5 or 6 years. That's the way it goes with us as handicappers. Now, we keep in contact all day long by instant message, by emails, etc. But it's not like we're all sitting in a room gathering and doing our sites. I'll never forget, years ago, I'm working for a wire service out in Nevada, and I was the guy who actually supplied all the injury information for everybody in this industry, period, back in the 90s. I had developed so many different contacts through being a reporter, from having a national radio show, that I had an in and was able to literally pick up the phone to any public relations or media relations director and inquire about players that were or were not playing now. Nowadays, it's easy. It's easy because there's the internet, right? But back then, it was a science. It was an art. It was something I spent 5 or 6 hours a day doing 7 days a week for 6 years before I sold that business. And literally, I had the power to move the line. I mean, it was a really strange thing, because when I would come across an undiscovered injury that wasn't made aware to the public yet, I mean, the minute I would release it and the wire would send it out, you would see the line move on games. It was a really phenomenal thing. But in the course of working for this particular company, I once went to their corporate offices in Vegas. And I walk in, and they have this room closed. The door says handicapping room. So me, naturally being the glib guy I am, I said, "Oh, is that where they have the dartboard?" Oh my God, you would have thought the 7 guys there wanted to shoot me. I mean, they took this seriously. That was like their war room. I was thinking, what, am I covering the NFL draft? I mean, what's going on here? But that's how it goes. I mean, listen, for us, we all do this. Most of the guys don't even talk to each other, to be honest with you. They're competitors, they're rivals, because they all want to do better than everybody else. But the bottom line, and the one constant that you find in the equation, is this: when guys win, you'll see the result on the homepage. When they lose, you're going to see that result on the homepage. When they're on winning streaks, when they're on losing streaks, you're going to see those results as well. Total transparency. It's the only way to do this in a business that has been sullied for so many decades by so many con men and so many charlatans, so many guys with 800 phone numbers, demanding that they have your second born, your mortgage, and your first car payment as in advance. Or I love the new scam. Well, actually, it's an old scam, but it's been really prevalent lately here in the 800 number phone service, from what I understand. The guy's calling up, after sucking people into packages saying that they need more money because they've got to go out and buy additional information on games because the college bowl season is here. Really? I mean, are any of you out there that dumb? I mean, seriously? Are you that dumb? Are your friends that dumb to fall victim to that scam? Now, I know I asked that question rhetorically and sarcastically because you're not that dumb. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video report because I tell you what it is. I tell you like it is. I mean, but there are people out there, gamblers, right? Gamblers that fall for this. I'll never understand that in my life. I don't know how 800 number phone services in the sports handicapping industry are still in business. I mean, they say a sucker is born every minute, but could there possibly be that many suckers to fall for those type of sales techniques, I guess you want to call them? Damned if I know. I mean, it's like guys pitching, they've got inside information. What is inside information? Seriously, it doesn't exist. It never existed. Pre-internet it existed because, if you had, like me, if you had injury information, that was truly inside information. Never once did I take advantage of it. Never once did I give it as a tip to anybody before giving it to the wire services. When they released it, the whole world knew about it. There's no such thing as inside information, though. And yet, the scam-decappers will do that too. So anyway, that's my little diatribe today. Let me get to your free selections. Listen, all your promos, all that good stuff. It's over on the homepage. You'll find it there. Quick congratulations, though, however, going out to a couple of guys. One of which, Jeff Benton, won again for you yesterday. Of course, that's all he does is win on these damn Thursday night games. That was his Thursday night winner, number 9 in a row in football. 7th straight in the NFL as he cashed in with Jacksonville last night. And of course, you got that winner at a savings of $70 off the regular price. You got it for just $30. So $39. Congratulations to him. $10 bettors now up since April. Over $22,000 following his betting advice. And last night, there were a couple of different guys that had big plays on the totals. Okay, and I'm going to tell you something here. This is straight from the heart. So last night, I saw Scott Delaney had a 40-dime total of the month play on the over-under. And I saw Anthony Red, who had his NFL Major Wager winner number 6 out of 7, with a higher rated play on the over-under. I decided to make Delaney the featured play, the play that you would get at a discounted price for $7.77. Why did I choose the lower play? Well, one, Delaney had been more consistent over the previous 5-6 weeks, earning $10 bettors, a little over $4,400 in that stretch going into last night's game. And the other reason, I thought to myself, the only NFL play that Anthony Red had lost the previous 2.5 weeks was last Thursday's total play when he had the over in the Rams-Cardinals game. So I'm looking again last night, and I'm looking here, and sometimes I play handicapper when I'm picking whose plays to give you at a discounted rate. And I'm thinking to myself, he's coming with the over here again tonight. Granted, it was a low-scoring game, and it could have went over, right? But these 2-12 teams hadn't been exactly putting fireworks up on the scoreboard. So I thought, what the hell? I went with Delaney. And as you know, I gave you a heads up right under the coupon code area, telling you that A-Red was on the opposite side of the contest. And this is not to bash A-Red, who is still 6-2 with major wager releases and hit a 100-dime play this past Sunday in the NFL. And it's not to pat Scott Delaney on the back, but it was just a call on my part because I thought to myself, you just can't pull for the over in this contest. You got to think it's going to stay under, and it did. So congratulations to Scott Delaney for cashing in with that winner. Now, for your complimentary plays tonight, let's see. Last night I gave you the Jaguars. I gave you Golden State, which, hey, the Warriors. You talk about a break going in the right way. Kevin Durant goes out with the sprained ankle in that game. Warriors rally for the win. Game, set, match. The only loser, the Chicago Bulls. So 2-1 last night, 18-6-2 since last Monday. Let's start in the NBA. I'm going to go with the Orlando Magic. They have played more road games than anybody else so far in the season. They're a 3-point favorite, however, tonight at home against a Utah team whom they beat in Salt Lake City, 98-93 back on December 5th behind Tobias Harris's 22 points. And that was a game that George Vucevic who had missed 4 straight games at that point, sat out because of back injury. He has now come up with double doubles in the 2 of the 3 games since he has returned to action. Since capping that 3-3 road trip with consecutive wins out on the West Coast, the Magic have since lost 4 out of 5. They've played 2 home games in that 5-game stretch. They coughed up a 7-point lead with a couple minutes to go and lost on a final buzzer-beating bucket by the Wizards. And then they also managed to upset the Hawks on a buzzer beater as well. I like them in this spot tonight. The Jazz are coming off a 105-87 win at Miami the other night, okay? After opening a 6-game road trip with losses to Washington by 9 and New Orleans by 8, and they had lost 12 of their previous 13 games before beating the Heat. 4th road game in 6 nights for the Utah Jazz, so I think Orlando is the way to go here in this particular contest. I also like Cleveland tonight. Now, we saw what happened to the Cavaliers the other night against the Hawks. I mean, an embarrassing effort. Not my words. That's their head coach's words, Dave Blatt. He called it embarrassing. Of course, LeBron, it wasn't embarrassing to him. No, embarrassing is losing the NBA Finals. Yeah, LeBron, Mr. Media Magnet. I can't stand the guy. I still can't stand. Never could stand the guy. Just my own personal opinion here. Listen, the Cavs are 1-3 in their last 4, and they've allowed at least 103 points in each of the 3 losses. But let's not, how do I say this, overanalyze that 1-3 losing streak, because keep in mind, in the one loss, they played at Oklahoma City, and LeBron sat out, and Kyrie Irving got hurt early in that game. The very next night, when they were playing their 6th game in 9 days, they lost at New Orleans. Okay, they got hammered by the Hawks. That was just their 3rd loss in the last 12 games. That was their first home loss in about almost 3.5 weeks. November 22nd was the last time they lost. It was their worst loss of the season. I think tonight is a night you got to lay the double digits. They're a 12-point favorite and go with them against the Brooklyn Nets. Nets are coming off a 105-89 loss at Toronto on Wednesday. Hey, we've seen how bad the Nets could be, so why not lay the points with Cleveland? College basketball. I looked at the Arizona game. I'm a little leery about laying the 7 points with Arizona at UTEP. Not that the Miners are that good, but, first true road game for Arizona this season, because their only other 3 road games were the neutral site games and the Maui Invitational when they beat Missouri, Kansas State, and San Diego State. And the last 2 wins, Kansas State and San Diego State, they only won by a combined 5 points, right? So I think that's a little of a sucker spot for Arizona tonight, seeing a number 3 ranked team in the nation laying only 7 points. Tim Floyd's Miners, they will come out. They'll play a 2-3. They'll play a 1-3-1 zone. They'll play a box and 1. I mean, he's going to throw everything but the kitchen sink at this team. And they've got size. UTEP has some size. They've got a couple of 6'8" wing guys there. Is Arizona a more athletic team? Yes. But again, the front lines, UTEP has the size to match. UTEP doesn't necessarily have the depth, but I think that's a trap game. I'd lean a little toward the Miners. But for your free college selection, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go with Colorado State minus 2.5 points at Denver. Colorado State, I was impressed with the way they went to Colorado when they went outright as a 5.5-point road dog last week, a game in which I gave you the Rams as a free pick. And I was even more impressed that they came back home in an obvious letdown situation and a sandwich spot, taking on the Division II team, Fort Smith, Arkansas Fort Smith, and they hammered them by 28 points, as they should have done. Now, tonight, they put their 9-0 record on the line in Denver against a Pioneers team that came into Moby Arena last year and beat them, upset them, and won by 10 points. But since this rivalry resumed back in the 98-99 season, Colorado State has won 13 of the 16 meetings, including 6 of 8 at Denver. Pioneers 4-1 at home, a pretty experienced team. They have 4 starters back from last year's 16 and 15 team. Colorado State would have been my best bet tonight. The only thing that has me a little concerned here is the fact that one of their starting guards is questionable for the contest. He says he's going to play. They list him as questionable. He's a pretty good player. A senior that's averaging 10.6 rebounds and 3 assists a game. Okay, if I could pronounce his last name, Barano, I don't know. It's Bejarano. You got me. I mean, they don't pay me to pronounce the names correctly. You know what I mean? So not knowing his status, I'm somewhat leery about that one. But this Colorado State team is for real. Undefeated. They have a top 20 RPI. Who would have guessed that Colorado State in basketball and football would be so strong so far this season? Oh well. Anyway, I like Colorado State. That's going to be your free college basketball selection. That'll do it. Again, in the NBA, I like the Magic. I like the Cavaliers, Colorado State in college hoops, and I would stay away from that Arizona UTEP game. Good luck, everybody, and I'll catch you again on Saturday when we kick off the college bowl season with an orgy of games. I'll see you then.